This is Jonathan Aguilar for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined by the WBO Super Featherweight Champion of the World. Well, as he's known in the US, the WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Jamel Herring, over Zoom. Jamel, good to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm just happy to be here.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's great to have you on. Big fight coming up against Carl Frampton in London on February 27th. How excited are you just to have that date confirmed? Because it's been months and months in the making.
I mean, I'm really excited for this one. Like you said, it's been built up. The build has been a year in the making. It's been over a year. You know, this fight's been pretty much being built up, but it's a lot. It's a lot of like weight off your shoulders once you get that fight concrete and cemented. So I'm just happy that we finally got the date and I'm ready to rock and roll.
You returned to London 8 years after the Olympic Games,
Yeah.
unfortunately not in front of a crowd. However, is it going to feel a bit special coming back to London? What's the feeling like coming back to London? Obviously, you would have
Yeah.
come to the UK with a crowd.
I fell in love with London. The people are great. Even though that it's not the way, like you pointed out, the way I wanted it to be. You know, I feel like the UK always brings out some of the best fans in boxing or any sports event around the world. And I was really looking forward to that. But, you know, just to be back in London after all this time is a great feeling. And, you know, I really hope, though, afterwards I could still get out there and you know, enjoy a little bit of London before I come back to the States. But, you know, first things first, I got to take care of business, of course. But I was really excited when they told me I was coming back to London. And you never heard a complaint about me traveling anywhere. I mean, you guys already know I was willing to travel to Belfast in his own backyard to make the fight because I believe in me. But, you know, London is also, for me, is a great city to be in, and I'm happy to come back.
I've seen, as mentioned off camera, I've seen your training in the mountains. You often post clips, I believe, on Twitter.
Yeah.
And man, it is serious work out there. Just
Oh, yeah.
give us an insight on how the training sort of works in preparation for a fight. And you guys are seriously working out there.
Oh yeah, you know, for starters, I came back out here to the mountains because this is where I basically won my world title against Masaki Ito. And you know, the last fight I couldn't do what I really needed to do because you know I was fighting COVID. I had so many delays with the camp. Like we literally had 3 training camps for one fight, so that took a toll on my body. The COVID, you know, even though I passed the test after like 3 tries, that still played a role in my body. So you know, and for this camp, you know, which is a big fight, I had to go back into isolation and just focus on primarily one thing, which is to go out there and win. And like you said, I felt great. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen this morning. I posted my weight. I was at 100, waking up 138 pounds. I mean, and you can look at my face. I don't look like I'm weight drained or I'm dying or you know like they thought I was gonna be you know have issues making weight. But it's like when you have something in front of you that's really important and you really want, you take things seriously. Like, you know, I have a nutritionist, I have a strength coach. They make sure that I do everything correctly, and of course, you already know I have a great team of trainers behind me as well.
Hmm. How does your preparation alter, or what stage are you at in your preparation for around 4 weeks out? How do you sort of manage it?
We're actually still going up, you know what I mean? But like right before I head out there, we're going to start bringing it down. So like I said, we're still going at high gear, but I feel great. I don't feel weak. Like I said, I posted because you guys see, I keep all my supporters and fans in tune with everything that I do. You know, so you know they can't say that this is old or that. You know, I post everything up, and you know I'm still I weighed in this morning, I'm close to the weight limit, but yet I still went out there right afterwards to go do a hard, intense workout with my strength coach. And I'm back here talking with you. And I like I said, I don't look like I'm drained. You don't hear it in my voice. I'm not dying. You know, because I'm doing everything correctly for this fight. And more importantly, I'm healthy. I'm not fighting a pandemic and a virus. You know, I'm just doing everything like I normally do for a big fight.
We saw after Carl Frampton beat Darren Trainer's last opponent, you basically said you're ready whenever. The fight's now here. What do you make of Carl Frampton as a fighter? I know you have a lot of respect for him. You both seem to have quite a lot of respect for each other. Entertaining build-up nonetheless. But yeah, what do you think of Carl Frampton as a fighter and what he's achieved?
He's a good fighter. He's a real good fighter. I never once was afraid to say that, you know, I'm a fan of Carl Frampton. You know, I like the guy. I like, you know, what he's done for the sport. So it's no animosity. You know, I just believe that I'm just in this fight, I will be the better man. But that, you know, that's just being competitive. Like I said, I feel like he's done great things at junior featherweight and featherweight, but I think this is maybe a little bit too much for him to take on, especially, you know, even people even said during you know, just me being a super featherweight, they always said I was always a big super featherweight, you know, against other natural super featherweight. So, you know, people, like I said, I don't look at it just like the size advantage. I feel like, you know, I mean, yes, of course, that does play into things, you know, natural, you know, your natural abilities and things like that play into every fight. But like I said, I still believe I have the skill set to, you know, to make a lot of people upset that night. But like I said, I'm just happy. I'm in a good mood. I'm really not worried about the fight. I'm just actually taking it one day at a time and making the most of it. Like I said, I can fight now, but I have plenty of time just to still prep and, you know, better myself, which is an advantage for me.
Mm. Carl Frampton's obviously, as mentioned, achieved a lot. He's very experienced within the game, but obviously you have the more experience at 130 pounds. Do you think that is a key factor, or is it just, you know, you believe your skill set is the key? What do you think the keys to victory for you are?
I just think it just all comes down to the skill set and whoever brings their A game, if anything. We've seen, because through our boxing history, we have seen stars rise up through weight classes on maybe, you know, their first attempt at a weight. Like for example, I think when Shane Mosley fought Oscar De La Hoya, he had one fight at welterweight, and then he went on to do great things. But I believe it comes down to all in terms of skill set and preparation. And like I'm just easy going. I don't feel the need to go out here and you know, try to convince anybody what I'm gonna do, or by, you know, trash talking or downing my opponent. No, I just believe in me, and I know I'll be the better man when the bell rings.
Do you think this fight goes the distance? You both fighters, yourself and Carl, are very slick boxers. Do you think this fight will go 12 rounds?
It's crazy. You know what? I was prepared for a 12-round fight, because every time you go in there looking for a knockout, that's when you come up short or you end up getting caught yourself. Now, my trainers, they think that you know, they really believe that the fight, you know, may not go the distance because of the way I've been looking. I'm constantly rotating sparring partners out because, you know, some of them are just not keeping up with the pace of work that we're doing, and it keeps me sharp. You know, I don't believe in, you know, keeping sparring partners around that you're just constantly beating up on, day in and day out. You know, you don't get any better. So we like to bring in fresh bodies. As you know, we've had Terence, my brother Terence Crawford, you know, also pushing me. And when you have guys like that, in terms of the experience factor, it boosts your confidence, especially mentally, because boxing is more mental than physical. But like I said, if you really sat down with my trainers, they don't believe that it may go the distance. But, you know, me as a fighter, I don't overlook anybody, so you always have to prepare for the best version of my opponent. And if I have to go on 12 rounds, and so be it. If it goes shorter, I'm fine with that too.
Obviously, you're sparring Terence with the WBO champion Terence Crawford. It's been in the headlines quite a bit, but just explain how those spars with Crawford goes. Obviously, he's got a size advantage. Does that just prepare you for extra power?
That's what people, you know, they were trying to knock it by saying, oh, he doesn't have the stature. It's not about, you know, I have other sparring partners for that. I have shorter guys for sparring for that, you know. But with Bud, you know, he brings the experience element. He brings a different look, of course. Of course, he brings power. he's gonna push you. He's gonna push you around, but he's gonna make you fight. He's gonna make you fight when the fights can't get grueling on the inside. That's why we have a guy like Terence Crawford around. I mean, for example, I'm pretty sure you've seen recently Oscar Valdez was sparring Canelo. I mean, is that bad? No, but why not take advantage of that? He's fighting a guy that he knows is gonna bring the heat to him. So take advantage of that with a guy like Canelo. And I commend Oscar Valdez for using that to his asset. So if I have a guy like Terence Crawford with me, why not take advantage of using taking full advantage of all that experience and skill set? And people think that he takes it lightly. No, Bud doesn't take it lightly on anyone, because what do I learn in the end from him taking it lightly on me? It doesn't do with me any justice when the real fight comes. So I need him to continue to push me both in and out the ring. So yeah, I'm glad I have a guy like Terence Crawford in my camp. Like, who wouldn't? I mean, I'm pretty sure Frampton would take advantage of that if he had Bud in his camp as well.
With Crawford being in your camp, you've got Brian McAteer, Bomac in there as well. How much in your career have those guys helped you? Because I imagine seeing what Terence Crawford's done over the course of his career and in certainly recent times where he's up there with the pound for pound greats in the world. How much of an impact does he and Bomac have on yourself?
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like I said, you got Brian McIntyre, you got my strength coach, Jamie Belt, my other two trainers, Isao Dieguez, Red Spikes, my nutritionist at Perfecting Athletes. All those individuals played a huge role. I mean, look at it. I mean, I was at when I turned pro, I was fighting 135. I was a lightweight, and then with the help of them, they not only brought me down to super featherweight, but they made me a strong super featherweight where I go in fight night not looking drained and weak in the process. And more importantly, they took my career from where it was at back in 2017, and here we are now as a world champion in a big fight that people actually want to see and are talking about. So that just goes to tell you, the role that they played, not only in the gym, but out the gym as well. Like, we have pretty much a family environment. And, I owe a lot to those guys. I don't think I probably wouldn't be a world champion if it wasn't for the team that I have, to be honest with you. And that's just me being honest. Because, you can have all the skills and the skill set in the world naturally, but sometimes you need that extra push to get you to, to fighting at that top tier level.
I will just touch on Terence Crawford for a second. Yeah, you tweeted about it yesterday. The whole of Twitter was blowing up. The talk of him and Errol Spence continues. Just talk to me about what you think on that fight. Do you think we see it? Obviously, you'll be back in Bud to win, but yeah, what do you make of this whole thing? It's good for hype, I guess.
It's good, yeah. It's not basically. It's probably the opposite of the build-up of me and Carl Frampton, of course. But like people know, people really I need to realize, like, I love both of the guys. I speak to Errol all the time as well. I speak to Bud all the time. I know I have a good relationship with both of those individuals. So it's easy for me to poke fun and make jokes of it because, like I said, I know them personally. But I think the fight will happen. At this point, it has to happen. Even Errol said that he doesn't want to move up before cleaning out the division. And like I said, Bud said he wants to unify the division as well. And he wants if they saying Errol Spence is the #1 welterweight, Bud, that's what Bud wants. He wants to fight the best out there. And it's a good fight. I don't think they throw jabs at each other, but I don't think it's nothing personal. I know that both of the guys, they're good individuals. They're just really hungry and competitive, and they want to outdo the other. But like I said, I mean, I'll have my jokes, but then I'll turn around, I'll give Bud a call, or I'll reach out to Errol, or Errol will reach out to me, and vice versa. And so like I said, it's good for the sport. But as a fan, I would definitely love to see that fight, and I hope it happens in sometime this year.
Jamel, someone else I believe you're quite close with is Shakur Stevenson. Right. Now, I spoke to him on a media call before his last fight about the possibility of facing you, and he says, it would just be business. Is that the same thing with yourself if you come?
It's always business. Like I said, we don't take anything personal. Shakur is a good guy. It's nothing. I'll never say anything bad about him because, like I said, I know him personally. Our camps are very close. But like I said, right now, all I can do is just focus on the man in front of me who's trying to, upset any plans of any other type of fights in the future. But yeah, like I said, it's all business in the end, and we're both trying to provide for our families. But it never comes down to where I'm trashing him or he's trashing me. You know what I'm saying? It's just boxing. Like it's, hey, you see Michael in the NBA in the States, back, Michael Jordan was very competitive with a lot of his friends that he competed against, but it never got ugly.
Jamel, one thing I did want to touch on that, I've been quite interested to ask you. You've obviously done service in the military out in Iraq, two tours of Iraq.
Right.
I just wondered if you could briefly sort of touch on that experience. How did you adjust to being out in a place like that, and how perhaps has it impacted the way you fight and approach fights? Because I'm sure, having been in a place like there with what's at stake there, you probably don't get intimidated too much by being in the ring. Am I correct?
Correct. I mean, like I said, with a place like that, you have to adjust each and every day because you just never know what to expect. It's not like it's a set schedule where what's going to happen or, at a set time and date. No, you have to basically be alert at all times. But during those tours, it basically it helped me build trust because you had to trust the man to the left and right of you to see another day, as I would say. And like you said, when you put it into the boxing aspect, boxing for me is fun. I'd rather be in a ring any day of the week than have to be out there in the desert over 120-degree weather and things of that nature. So, and plus, like I said, it plays. They always say boxing is more mental than physical. So when you look at stuff like that, it's like I've been through the worst. I've been at my lowest and I got through it. So if I can get through that, I can get through a fight. The fight's not gonna worry me, especially if I know if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, preparing for that fight. The fight, I'm not saying the fight's easy, but if you had to choose between the two, you would rather box than constantly being overseas in harm's way.
Jamel Herring, appreciate you coming on. A few weeks to go before you and Carl Frampton go out in London. WBO Super Featherweight Championship on the line. Do you have a last message to the UK fans tuning in? And when do you actually arrive in London?
I plan on arriving there at least 2 weeks before the fight, so maybe mid-February. But I just want to thank everyone for being patient. I know it took a while to get this fight made, but it's happening. I apologize that I can't have the lovely UK crowd to participate with this fight, but it's still gonna be a good fight overall, and hopefully I can get out there and celebrate with some of the good people out there. Also tell Frank Warren that I say hello as well. I know I probably am not Frank's best guy, but it'll be good to see you though, Frank.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that there, Jamel. I'll let you get back to it. And again, I appreciate talking to pro boxing fans, and best of luck ahead of this fight against Carl Frampton.
Thank you, my man. You take care of yourself.